Hey Wargamers, welcome back to the channel, Death from Above Wargaming. I'm Aaron.
I'm Ben.
And we are back. We've got something exciting for you tonight. It is a decal extravaganza, also known as a tutorial.
Yep.
So Ben and I are going to do a little decaling here of the sort of light mechs that you may or may not have seen on the channel in the past. They are sadly undecaled, unadorned.
It just means that they need it.
They need a little love.
Yeah.
So Ben and I have very different approaches to putting on decals. Ben is very rigorous, studied under the grand masters of decalage.
I have ancient grognard knowledge.
He does.
Secret grognard knowledge from conventions, historical conventions.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I just kind of slap them on. So we're going to give you a couple different options. We'll talk through it, and then you guys can hopefully take away what you find useful. Another thing we're going to look at is two of the leading companies, I think, that produce decals, at least in my opinion, for BattleTech Miniatures.
Yeah.
Fighting Piranha,
Yep.
which is licensed to produce all of the official BattleTech decals.
Oh, okay.
Right, so like Draconis Combine, for example.
Yeah.
Like the sort of light decals, like all of these things, they come from Fighting Piranha.
Yeah.
Death Ray, on the other hand, has a fantastic line that they created for their, I believe, their game called Steel Rift.
Yep.
But it's mechs, it's all robots, Ben.
Yep.
Robots are robots, guys. And they have like, caution stripes, and they have little signs and all sorts of great stuff that you can use. I actually prefer to use the numbers from Death Ray Design. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah. Because
they have an outline around the numbers. So you can order them, like if I want white and I can get them with a black outline, it really makes them pop on the mech a little bit.
Yeah.
Fighting Piranha does not offer that. So I prefer the Death Ray numbers, but that's just me. You can also get custom designs, Ben.
That's awesome.
From Death Ray. All right, so I got custom Avatar Knights decals and
so cool.
Old Kentucky Chargers and the 21st, whatever the heck they are, the Avalon Hussars.
Yeah.
Kevin's old unit. So I got some really cool stuff. You can if you're good with graphics, or if you know how to use Fiverr, just get someone to make you a graphic. But you can get your own unit logo, upload it, and they will print it for you. And they're excellent quality. So
that's really good.
So anyway, before I go any further, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Tell me if you've used Death Ray Design decals, or if you've used Fighting Piranha, which one you prefer. I honestly, I love the Fighting Piranha for the fact that it's all the legit stuff.
Yeah.
But I think from a quality perspective, the Death Ray stuff is a little more durable.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't scratch off as easy and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
but
you have to be very, very gentle with the Fighting Piranha.
You have to be gentle with them. But there are some tips and tricks that we will talk about. First, let's talk about the tools of the trade.
Yeah.
I'll talk about what I use, and you can talk about what you use. Number one, I need a magnifying glass with a light because I'm old and I can't see anymore. Ben has the magnifying glasses attached to his face.
Yeah. I'll even use like 5x or like 1.5 or 2x cheaters if I need to.
Yeah, smart. So this is what I use for painting when I'm setting the decals, or if I'm making a particularly tight cut around them. Sometimes I'll use this. These are essential.
Yep.
All right. You can't use big scissors. I tried using a modeling knife. Does not work. I just highly recommend a small pair of scissors. They're like, what is that? A laser?
No. It's a modeling knife. I brought one just in case. But yeah, this is not
a plasma cutter. That would be awesome.
Those are so fun. I love them.
Melt the mech.
Yes.
Oh no. But these are like $6, like $5 on Amazon. You probably get them at the Dollar Tree for $1, but I'm too lazy to drive there. So the other thing I use is brushes.
Yep.
All right.
We have that in common.
I use these for when I'm trying to get the decal off the backing, when I'm placing it, right? I use different sizes. I actually have this big one if I need to suck excess water off.
Yeah.
So, different things.
So I'll do the same thing. I have brushes, different sizes. I also use Q-tips.
Oh, fancy.
I will also use toilet paper. Like
toilet Q-tips and toilet paper.
Yeah.
You can do your decal work right in the bathroom.
Right in the bathroom.
Right in the bathroom. So you can economize your time.
Yeah.
While you're in the men's or the ladies, you can do your decal work.
Because like you were saying, sucking up water, like those things will float all around if you're not careful. And you got a little bit of toilet tissue, you just go, especially for the tiny, hard to reach one.
There's so many jokes in there. The other thing I use is this, which is like a putty tool.
Yeah.
And
a sculpting tool. That's awesome.
So I don't actually use this. You know what I use this for? When I need to get the old backing from the decals out of the water.
Oh yeah.
It's weird, but I use it.
Well, hey, that's
all right.
You know, something that you will find as you go on your hobby journey is that you will accumulate random
weird
stuff
things
that does one job, but it does it really well, so you hold on to it.
Like it's got a little scooper end. I don't know what you would use this for on a putty side, but for me, it's like, oh look, I can get it right out.
Cleaning out your ears.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
it's called an ear spoon.
I love these. I bought like 75 boxes of these. I use them for my terrain. I use them for when I'm carrying my minis around. Yeah. They come in all different sizes. But I was like, what do I want to use these little tiny ones for? But they're great for decals. Like when you cut off, like this is a death ray sheet that I've, when you start cutting them, you get little pieces.
Yeah.
I don't want to have Ziploc bags everywhere. I got my caution stripes and it's easy.
You just toss it right in there.
Just toss them right in there. They don't go anywhere. And then from a supply perspective here, we've got 13th Sword of Light, courtesy of Fighting Piranha. We've got Draconis Combine, Fighting Piranha. I don't know if we'll use these tonight, but if we're feeling ambitious, maybe a caution stripe or two. These are also from Fighting Piranha. And then I have these dog fighting numbers. They're white with a black outline. These are from Death Ray Designs. So
nice.
That's what we got. So the other is this.
Have to have it.
All right. I don't use tap water. I have well water. It's filtered and all that other crap, but I still don't trust the crap that's in the water.
There's all kinds of crap in the
water.
There's
always crap in the water. So some people use distilled water.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is close enough. I know it's not distilled, but it's fresh from the spring, guys. Yeah. All right. I don't know if it's fresh from the Poland spring, but from Wegmans spring, it is fresh. It does have some minerals added for taste, though.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So they're good. That's good for the mech skin.
It disguises the chemicals in the plastic bottle.
So honestly, what I do is I use this palette that I have in front of me, and I use the lid, and I just fill a couple of these with water because I'm a weirdo and I like to separate different types of decals. So I'll cut all my decals out at once, and I'll put my caution stripes in one, my unit logos in another, my numbers in another one. That's how I do it.
That's okay. Well, because the way you're doing it, you'd have to chase them all around. They'd all get mixed together, and they'd probably stick together.
Right. This way, they don't stick together,
and it would be really maddening.
Right. So there we go. So I got some water in there. We're done. All right. Okay. So that's my. What do you use?
So I use, and now this looks absolutely awful. If the camera, please don't zoom in on this cameras because this looks terrible. It's some tray for some random hobby thing. Like I said, you find stuff. It does one job really well. You use that. I also use the foam from, this is just regular old open cell foam. Used to come in packaging for miniatures. You can tell how old I am.
Ralph Partha blister packs.
Yep. So
you can use like extra felder foam even.
Yeah, you can use
anything like that.
Any kind of spongy material will work. And you just soak it in water. You can see it's very damp. And instead of chasing decals around a puddle of water, I set it on here, and that's how it separates from the back.
Don't microaggress me, Ben.
I'm already telling you how you're doing everything wrong. You're terrible.
Don't microaggress me, Ben. All right.
I have been where you are at with that, and that's why
they look great, okay?
They do look great. Once they're on the model, it doesn't matter. But your blood pressure prior to that's what matters.
It keeps me young.
High blood pressure keeps you young.
Keeps me young. All right, so you've got a Marauder 2.
I do. It's such a cool mech. Oh my gosh.
I've got a Gunslinger. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
That's a nice mech too. Thanks. I haven't actually seen that in flash.
Yeah.
What a cool skull.
It's got all kinds of little medium pulse lasers or whatever there.
Butt lasers.
Yeah. So when I start with my decals, I don't know about you, but I like to keep mine consistent. Like unit logo here, faction logo here, numbers here. So I'm kind of thinking like they're very proud to be Sword of Light. I think like right chest, Sword of Light logo.
Alrighty.
Then I think like maybe Draconis Combine on the left leg and numbers on the right leg. That's kind of what I had in mind.
Alrighty, cool.
When I do caution, how do you do caution stripes?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't caution stripe anybody.
All right, well, I'll tell you what I do when I do caution stripes. I always imagine, like, if I was a little technician working on this mech, where would I not want to fall off of? Or what would be too hot to step on or something along those lines? And that's kind of where I put the caution stripes. Sometimes I just do it where it looks cool,
Yeah.
you know, but that's generally what I do. Like where joints look like they might crush a poor little technician.
Talk about a pinch point, man.
I know. Yeah.
Well, I don't caution stripe because I'm lazy and I don't like adding steps. I love the look of caution stripes because it's such a like BattleTech 80s thing.
It's so 80s.
It's really
so good.
Black and yellow caution stripes on everything.
Everything.
So I love the look. I don't do it because I like I'm lazy on paint jobs. Like decaling is one of the things I love to do, but that's where I draw the line.
All right, so what are we going to start with? You want to start with the Draconis Combine?
Yeah. Let's figure out. So, can I put caution stripes on his codpiece?
On his codpiece? You may not.
Oh,
it is my miniature. I'm overruling it.
Oh, shoot. All right.
You know what? I don't know. Leave it in the comments. Should we caution stripe the codpiece?
We can always go back and do it to all of them.
That's like their unit thing?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I won't put.
It is a really nice flat place for a.
So that's something that in my mech decaling journey, large flat areas are priceless. I love them because it makes it really easy to apply the stuff. And so putting them in large flat areas, even though it kind of breaks some of the consistency rules, is something that I'll do. Like you'll see on my Lancers, the 21st Centauri guys, there's kind of a consistency, but especially on the smaller mechs, if there's no space for it, or if it's really like bubbly textured, forget about it. I just slap it on a flat spot. Right.
That's good. That's a good tip. So the other thing I like to do is I like to try to figure out how much space I need, right? Or how much space I have, rather. Because if you go slightly too big and the decal's overhanging, there's like no going back. You have to take the decal. It's basically like a wasted decal. Or you can save it for another mini, but you have to use it pretty quickly.
You can undo decals to a point.
Right, to a point.
And after that, it's a complete disaster.
So I kind of err on the smaller side. Like, so these fighting Piranha that's like gigantic, which you'll probably never use on anything except for like dropship. And then there's like large, medium, and small.
Yeah, you can fit the big ones on an Atlas.
The super size?
Yeah. Atlas is
bold. You could fit this on the codpiece. For sure.
You could. That's bold. Talk about bold.
Sweet snake, bro.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna take this one to start.
Alrighty.
All right. Cool. And then you can take the sheet.
And you said right chest.
We're gonna do left leg for the Draconis.
Oh, left leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I think that's in the Marauder's got goofy legs.
He does have goofy legs.
So what do you think? You might want to do something different for that.
Can I hit you up with multiple decals, multiple combine decals?
Yeah.
Because I'd love to put one front and center on that black shoulder pad right there. But is that where the Sword of Light icon goes?
Well, we could switch that to the left torso. We could do the Draconis Combine thing up on the right torso.
No. Well, you got two. So if we go left and left for the Draconis Combine decal and right for the Sword of Light decal.
Yeah.
And that'll be mirror image. That'll look pretty boss.
All right, so you're thinking Draconis but on left leg and left torso.
Yeah.
That's bold.
I'm gonna do.
All right. So when I cut as much of the excess stuff off that I don't need, right? Yeah. But I will tell you that I've learned, probably from you, that if you use a matte varnish, it really cuts the shine down, right, of the decals. That's a must-do for me now. And sometimes you might want to leave a little extra just so you don't mess it up. But I drop mine right in the water. And then what I do is I'll take a brush or I'll take this ear cleaning tool and I'll just push it down so it's in the water.
Yeah. Oh, that way it's not floating around and you're not chasing it.
Now I might go with I'm going to go with a bigger one because we're getting saucy here. All right.
Yeah, you got to have pride.
It's true.
Draconis Combine, very, very patriotic people.
Let me move these
second only to maybe the Capellan Confederation.
Well, we can make another joke about the Capellans, but people get upset about it, Ben. It's controversial.
No, they have pride in their nation and fierce.
I mean, there's a difference between pride and being brainwashed, but...
Well, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, right?
I guess so. I guess it's true.
One man's brainwashing is another man's...
National pride.
Yeah. Honestly, you could say that probably the Draconis Combine's sort of in that same thing, too, because you don't raise kids to be Bushido warriors without them being a little brainwashed.
It's a fair point. All right, so now while my decals are soaking, I'm just going to keep cutting.
Right.
So I need sort of light. These things are weird looking. And the other problem is like you can barely see them. They'll look fine once they're on the mech.
Yeah, but on the
sheet they're kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I should go small or medium here because these are actually pretty big. I'm gonna go medium. What do you think?
I think you can get away with medium on that one.
That's what you think, Ben.
I'm gonna go as big as possible.
Just give me the biggest sword ever. Okay, man.
He's in a Marauder too. Like he doesn't play around.
Look at your little sword. Look at mine. It's so much bigger.
Ooh, I might not be able to go much bigger.
Yeah, dude, they're huge.
They are huge, and it's not just that they're huge. They're
like in a weird angle.
Yeah, they're kind of catty corner. They don't really they don't behave well.
Yeah,
I really want to use the biggest one I can, but I think I'm going to be since they're not mine.
So I'm going to drop this in a different. Oh no, where are we going to put the unit number? Because now we got Draconis on. I was going to put the unit number on the leg. I was going to do. Oh, right leg.
Right leg.
Yeah, we still have right leg open, right?
Right shoulder side.
I don't. You know why I don't like the shoulder? I'm going to tell you why I don't. Like
you can't see him from the front view.
Well, you can't see it on the front view. That's a good point, but that's okay. Yeah. The problem is like half the mechs don't have shoulders.
You are correct.
Weird like holes and bolts and.
Yeah, the actuators are all showing on.
Yeah, on some of them. Like
I'd say a good 60-70% of them.
Yeah, like this guy's got a great. So why don't we do the right leg for the number? All right.
Alrighty. Right leg. So.
The other cool thing about the Death Ray design numbers that I think is a huge win is number one. They start at 00 and they go up to 59, and you get every single number. Whereas I believe the other ones only go up to like 33 or 30, I think 33 or 34, and I don't know why, but they just stop there. Yeah. So
it should go up to whatever a company is at least.
Like 36. Yeah. Why did it stop at 33?
I don't know. Because you might have command mechs in there. You might have other stuff.
I know. So,
I like, in a force, I like not numbering mechs the same. Is that something you do too? Like I like having a progression of numbers.
I have oh, for sure. Yeah. So, and it's interesting you say that. So every one of my units is different. So actually like my Liao unit that I just did, the Capellan, actually they're the Liao Hussars. They go like 0, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and then it's 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and then 2, 1. Like the first numbers, like the lance, and the second one's the unit within it. So I do them all a little bit different. Whereas the Avatar Knights is like just a straight like
all the way through,
right up to the second, like up to the second company, and then it kind of So I agree with you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so I use my handy dandy. All right, so I've got all my decals done.
I think I'm ready to go too.
All right, but unlike you, all right, I may put a couple caution stripes on this dude.
All That's right. Okay. You know what? I'll caution stripe.
Don't you dare.
When in Rome, right? When in Rome.
When in the studio.
Yeah. When in the studio, do as the studio does.
All right, and we do caution stripes, Ben.
So here's what I'm gonna.
We'll just do a couple. We'll just do a couple to show the viewers.
I'm gonna start by prepping where I'm gonna lay these down with a decal fixer, and what that does, you can do the same thing with like a thin, very thin coat of gloss varnish, and it gives it a flatter, more smooth surface for the decal to kind of slide around on. So you can position it easier, and it helps it lay flatter in the end product. So that's what I'm doing now.
Do you know
it goes on clear.
Is not that.
Not yeah, I know. This is where our processes differ.
All right, but please continue.
So
I will watch in earnest.
that's you don't have to. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit further up on this one because that's sort of like decal is goofy. All righty. Because we can always matte varnish it away later. All right. So that's prep. That's one step. Decal fix or gloss varnish or something to prep the surface first.
I love it.
And then we're going to go in with the next step. So what's your next step?
So my next step is I just get a paintbrush and I take the decal. All right. And I always like to pull it with the the non-colored side down.
Yeah.
Right. So that way when I paint it on, it's the way I want it. Right. Boop. So I'm going to look on the back of the decal, and you know, if you're confused, you can reference the sheet, identify the pattern so you know which which is the top, right? I happen to grab it in precisely the correct order, right? Now, the small one is going on the leg, right? So we said left leg for this, yeah?
Yep.
So all I do, all right, and I'll try to get this here in frame as best as I can, but I just did, boom, done. Look at that. It's like a boss.
Beautiful.
All right. Now, it's a little wet. I like to wipe the water away, and I don't touch the decal.
Je like a Q-tip,
I don't want to, no, that's gross, dude. This is not the men's room. This is a studio.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's like a meme in the making. All right. Does that look right to you?
That looks great.
I feel like the snake is looking good.
Looking good.
Now, the thing is this. Because I didn't do what he did, if you're not careful, it will come off and it'll like move everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So you do have to be very careful with it. Let it dry. And then what I do is I put, well, before it's completely dry, I put the microsol on it.
Yeah.
Which you have, and you do that.
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
So show me what you got going next.
Alrighty, so I have in this little pod here the decal fix, microset, and microsol. So I'm going to put a tiny little
question.
puddle. Shoot.
You use the same brush for all three.
Yeah, I just wash it.
Just rinse it off. Not a big deal.
I actually, this
Pro
is,
tip.
again, I'm lazy.
Heard it first here on the channel.
So I'm going to put a little blob of microset on each of these locations. You kind of got to work quick because it'll dry up.
Yep.
And then I'm going to switch to my little grabbing, my tiny thin brush for grabbing.
Oh, wow. Look at that. It comes right off.
Comes right off. We're going to roll up underneath it if I can. Here's when you need to speed that up. Watch me struggle with it for hours.
Nope. I'm gonna slow it down.
So it looks like I'm taking even longer time. All right, so that went on pretty good. We're gonna do the same thing with the little one. We're gonna get up underneath it. Whoop.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna do mine too, because I don't want to fall behind. I feel embarrassed.
Oh, were we just doing them one at a time? Here I am.
Not
I'm
anymore.
showing off. All right, so I'm get the second one on there.
Well, you're on a time constraint. See, the benefit of your method is it's like how you're supposed to do it. The benefit of my method is when my kids start screaming, I'm like,
you can put it down.
I can walk away. And they're still in the water, and they'll stay there until the water dries up.
So you'll notice some of what I just did. Just reiterating for the audience there. I put it down. It didn't go in the right place, so I added a little bit more microset, and I'm using a toothpick. That's all this is, to kind of scooch it around.
Look at that fanciness.
Yeah, all it is a stick with a little slot cut in it for the toothpick.
So when I need to move mine around, I'll use the brush, and if it's getting stuck,
yeah,
I'll just
put some more water on it.
Yeah, and if it's really annoying, you just put a lot of water on it.
Yeah,
and it works. I will say, please make sure your miniatures are like super duper completely dry. Because if you start doing this while your miniature paint is not dry,
yeah,
it's a mess. Yeah, don't do that. I have not done it. But I knew a guy.
You, sir, are a better man than I.
I knew a guy.
I've done that. Oh, see here, I went and folded the sort of light.
Dude, I was just going to say the same thing. So listen, this is why I have 3 different size brushes, because when you have annoying decals, you can pick them up with a bigger, meatier brush. So like this sort of light decal is super annoying.
It is.
So I'm going to get this brush nice and wet. And this one I'm not going to be able to pick up upside down, but that's okay. All right.
So
and then
I just folded that bad boy over, unfolded it on the miniature.
Ben is fancy toothpick tools.
There we go.
Oh, you got it? Oh,
I got
it. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to look at yours, because normally I'd be doing this myself and I would know the angle that I would,
Oh, you're trying to get a consistent angle there?
Got to get a consistent
There we go.
angle.
I'm thinking like that. What do you say?
That's a beaut, Clark.
Looks good.
All right.
Looks good. Well, we got the number left, right? Yeah, so by this time, all my fooling around has
look at that
evaporated.
Look at that grab.
Oh, well done. I might have to adopt that method. That seemed to work really well.
All right. Ooh, how's that look? Is that right?
I would, drop the hilt.
That's got to go down more.
Yeah.
More angulature? I don't know if that's a word, but it is now.
Hey, we coin all sorts of words here.
What do you think?
Stuff from Wargaming. Looks good. Here, comparison shot. Looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Let's get a little more on that bad boy.
So we got the number left. All right.
Yeah.
So both our methods are working, right? Again, my method is very simple, sort of the half-baked method. Ben's method, much more professional. It uses the microset, the microsol, right? It uses all sorts of
all kinds of gadgetry.
Right, gadgetry. I mean, I love the toothpick. That's a very interesting thing because the problem I have with moving the decals around with the brush is sometimes they'll stick to the brush, but they don't seem to stick to your toothpick.
No, they generally don't. They generally don't.
That's a benefit.
So I'm trying up some of that microset. Holy crap. I made these bad boys damp.
Yeehaw. All right. So for those of you that are terrified of decals, don't be. It is really not that hard.
No.
It's a pretty straightforward process. I mean, again, you don't have to do it this way. This is the correct way to do it. This is the way people on the internet will tell you have to do it. You can get away with just water, a brush, and I think microsol is a must-have, though.
Yeah.
The red top one, because that's the one that melts the decal. All right.
Especially with how textured these things are, which is amazing. Right. Like, it's great to get that kind of big, chunky armor plates and everything. But you absolutely need microsol to get them to look good.
You need that. I agree with you.
Ooh. You know something? The numbers, the DFA numbers, they're a lot more stiff.
The death ray numbers?
Yeah.
They're good, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Look at that. I mean, that was like first pass.
That's
Boom.
really good.
And you can see it. I love the black outline. Excellent job, Death Ray Designs. Excellent job.
Yeah. How's that look? Look okay? Good spot for the O1?
Oh, I love it. And I like how you move the Combine logo down as well. Oh, look at that. The little cotton fuzz doesn't like move the decal at all.
You got to be gentle though. If you go in like, it's going to come right. Yeah, it's going to. You can do that. Yeah, don't do that. That would be bad.
All right, so check it out. Because I'm not lazy, I want to put some caution stripes on these guys. Now, the Fighting Piranha caution stripes, in my opinion, look better for BattleTech than the Death Ray ones. The Death Ray ones I've used on dropships and buildings and things like that. They're a little bigger. But the downside to the Piranha ones is they are very dainty. And so you have to be very delicate. They have to be very careful with them. Also, they come in pairs, and the stripes are pointing in different directions.
Oh, that's fun.
So I always like to have my stripes. I know it's crazy. I am maybe potentially a little bit OCD. But I do like to have all my stripes pointing inwards towards the center of the mech.
I get it.
Call me crazy.
So again, these are military units, right? If you look at military stuff that is parade ready, everything is exact. Right. It has to be.
It's got to be, right?
So if these guys just came out the hangar and they're marching to war in their parade livery, they're going to be on point.
And their caution stripes are pointing in the wrong direction. Could you imagine the Lyran Commonwealth would just make fun of them for days? Look at those look at their caution stripes, guys. What losers!
It's a good thing that the techs don't follow Bushido, otherwise seppuku all day long.
All day long.
Just
the caution stripes. Actually, it's the techs. It's probably like a painter. That's what happens when you're not even good enough to be a tech. You end up being the mech painter.
It's a highly skilled job, man. It's a highly skilled job.
Pays very well.
Probably not.
Almost as well as mech HVAC.
Oh.
I bet you the mech electricians rake it in, dude.
You know what? They're very complicated machines. Are we microsoling yet?
Are you?
I might be.
I don't know. I'm gonna microsol mine in a little bit.
All right.
I'm just getting this last sweet caution stripe on.
Where are you putting them? Ooh.
Right at the end of the Gauss rifles.
These PPCs are telling me that they need caution stripes too.
Yeah? I can cut some for you.
Well, here, tell me which ones to use. I'll cut them out while you're noodling around with yours.
All right. Well, I packed them away, Ben, in my little cup of wonders here. All right.
All righty.
Probably either those.
I think I'll use these ones.
The smaller ones, maybe. You could even do them long ways. You know what I mean? Like
like boom, boom. That would be the perfect size. That one stripe there.
Yeah.
So these are pointing.
So these two are a pair.
Ah, I see top and bottom.
Yep.
All right.
I'm a caution stripe connoisseur. All right. Some call me
I'm learning
master of caution stripes. A master of caution.
Master of caution stripes. Sounds like a Metallica album.
like the great thing about these caution stripes is not only they have the blocks, which is all I have left that are uncut, but in this new one that I have not opened yet, because I'm a completionist, I like to try to use all the things I have before I open a new one. I'm so
that
weird.
makes sense.
But they have these awesome like strips that you can cut the size.
Oh wow!
So you can like, I like to put them like right by the cockpit, like or where the hatch is to the cockpit.
Yeah.
You put a little on there. Sometimes it spices them up pretty well, and I'll probably add more to this guy, down the road. But I do like how this looks. I'm digging the sort of light. I like the numbers. I like how it's got the dual Draconis logos. I think that's pretty slick.
Yeah.
So while you're cutting that out, what I'm going to do is microsol. Now, what I do, because I'm awful, is I dip my brush right into the bottle of microsol.
I'm not gonna throw shade on you, because prior to me stealing a poppet from my child,
Yeah.
and using it as a palette, I did the same thing.
All right.
I also have knocked an entire bottle of it on my hobby table.
Ooh.
Doing just that. So
Which one's your microsol?
microsol is the third one.
Last
no,
one?
you can do it. Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not dipping in your bottle. Guys, never dip your brush in someone else's bottle, all right? No matter, even if they invite you to do so. This is like 101 stuff, all right? So I just get a brush full of this stuff, and I very gently, and it's got to be, don't be shy with it. Just slap it on, all right? Just a nice little touch, all right? And you slap it on. And the last step that I do after this is done, I'm going to steal some more from you.
Absolutely, go for it.
All right, the last step that I do, Ben, is after this dries, and I let this dry overnight. You can already see how it moves?
Yeah.
That's because I didn't do the micro set like a pro.
You also can...
I could do... Oh,
before.
That could work.
But it would soak up the microsol. You'd have to wait a little bit and put it on again.
But it's fine. It moves around. You just got to make sure you're gentle with it. Now, they're all micro-setted. Now what I do is I let it dry overnight, and then I just matte varnish, which you can just make sure it's matte, acrylic, right?
Yep.
Acrylic paint, matte varnish. And what do you have?
Brand-wise?
I use I don't even know. I can't remember.
Paint.
I have a giant bottle. It's like this big.
Oh, it probably...
I dip the brush right in it. And I just paint it on the matte.
But it's your own matte varnish, so you can do that.
It's my own.
Yeah.
It's my right. It is my own varnish.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So... Right, and then that's it. I mean, and then my process is done. Once I matte varnish it, it's done. I will say this. So these I painted without the intention of doing decals. So I did all the dirt and stuff, and I painted the bases.
Yeah, yeah.
In my painting process, Ben, typically I will do everything. I save the dirt and the bases for the last.
Yeah.
I will put the decals on before I do the weathering.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I weather over. And I know you do a lot of blending, which
Yeah,
we'll
I do basically the same thing.
But I will weather after.
Yeah.
Because these are already weathered, I didn't put any stuff down by the feet. Maybe I think on some of the Knights or one of the units I painted, maybe the Liao guys.
Yeah.
They got caution stripes down there and they're all dirtied up. It looks cool.
Yeah.
So just food for thought for you guys out there.
So when I do basically the same thing, but I do kind of like an overall dry brush, like as bone color. And that's how I kind of fade them in. So when I get to the decal, I'll use like the little fuzzy dry brush.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of do real light, like once it's almost out of pigment.
Yeah.
Where
so
you're
you're beyond dry brush.
Yeah. It's just the lightest thing.
And you do that before or after you do the matte varnish?
After the matte varnish. Has to be after the matte
Otherwise,
varnish.
it'll move the decal.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to show you here in a little bit how crazy I get with my stuff. So I'll do microsol on everything, let it do its crinkle, flatten, and then I'll hit it with the decal fix again to kind of seal it before I hit it with the matte varnish.
That's intense, folks.
That was a lot of steps. Like I told you, I'm lazy, but only in certain things.
Only in certain things. I mean, that's... Yeah,
only in added steps.
Right.
So here, that's one I forgot. I will, let's get that on there for our hazard stripes.
And that is micro set that you're doing.
And this is Decal Fix by
Decal
another
Fix.
company. It's supposed to do the same thing.
Do you use micro set at all?
I do. I put a little blob on it so it
so you
floats.
do the decal fix, then the micro set, then the decal.
Yeah, yeah.
Then microsol.
Yep.
Then matte varnish.
Then Decal Fix again, then matte varnish.
Wow.
A lot of steps here. But it keeps them, because I get, Like you can do matte varnish right over top of it. Like the decal fix is an extra, probably a superfluous obsessive compulsive bend thing.
Okay.
It probably doesn't have to happen because the matte varnish is doing exactly the same thing. But I figure if I screw it up sometime in between those two steps, like the decal fix is already out, it's with all the rest of my stuff. I don't have to go back for another bottle. I just boom, put it on there. That way it's like security almost.
Yeah.
That way it's done and I don't have to mess with it. How about them caution stripes? I'm feeling some caution stripes.
You're feeling some caution stripes.
What way do you feel they should go?
Well, as I said, okay, they always point inwards to the body.
So this way is so this one.
Yeah, that looks like that's going to be.
This one would go on the right-hand side right here, right?
Looks. Oh man, that is.
Is that where that actually goes?
Nice. Woo! I'm so ridiculous.
There we go.
We're both ridiculous in our own ways.
That's
Tell us in the comments your ridiculous, like weird things that you do when you do decals and painting. Presumably some of you have never done decals. I know there's a lot of decal phobia out there. I will tell you, I had decal phobia.
Really?
For like 4 years. All right. And people know this. I mean, especially the longtime viewers. My mechs did not have decals. I'm on a decal bender. All right, I've been decaling everything. In fact, if you want to know why things are out of stock, it's because I bought them all.
Oh man,
right.
You're that guy. I've
story.
been on Aries like multiple times trying to find stuff for Liao.
Yeah, I bought all the Liao decals only because I don't want anybody else to play it. I'm gonna. This is like I'm gonna take all of the Liao stuff so that nobody else. No more Liao ever.
And then you're gonna hide them all. You're gonna lock them in a vault somewhere.
What do they call that? Like when you like basically control the economy by buying all the supply of one thing.
I was gonna say being a jerk, but
yeah, that's it.
that karma'd me and it made me mess up the decal.
That's it, being a jerk. So great time to plug Aries Games and Minis, guys. If you have not gone over to Aries Games and Minis, definitely do it. It's phenomenal. All your BattleTech needs, the dice, the books, the models, obviously the decals that we're talking about. He does have both Death Ray and Fighting Piranha over there. All the good stuff over at Aries Games and Minis. So definitely check it out. Derek is a great dude. And if you want to know when certain decals are coming in, etc., sometimes he knows, sometimes he does not. But if you're looking for a certain thing, you can like add to the wish list on the website and things like that. So, all right. So
there we go.
They look amazing.
They do.
You're gonna microsalt?
I'm gonna microsalt.
Look at mine.
I don't have to do that. I got it in the cup. That looks great.
All right. So you did your microsalt.
Yep.
I did mine. And again, my next step is matte varnish, which I won't do here, but it's very simple.
Yeah.
Get a little brush and just paint over it. Just wait till it's dry. Give it 24 hours. Probably 8. I mean, probably like 5 hours is enough. But
honestly, it doesn't take that long.
I wait a day because, I'm paranoid.
It might tell you on here. I don't really know, but no, it doesn't.
It says real big in the back, read before using. No one's read this. No one has ever read the back of that bottle.
I've read part of it.
I don't even know it just says read before using.
Yeah. I only do it because I forget which order these go in every time I use them.
Yeah.
So I have to check the side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like set it and salt, like a solvent dissolve.
Do faster.
Yeah.
The sort of light one's coming along. You get
so you did the smart thing and put it on the black. Mine's on the red. It doesn't look as great, but they all don't have black in that torso
in that kind of area.
Yeah, in that area.
So that's something too. As you know, you never intended to decal these. No. So if you're planning a force soup to nuts and you want to decal them, make sure you put that contrast color for your decal in a place.
If you think about where you want them to go,
yeah.
Proactively instead of reactively, like I just did, like a noob.
No, see, you had a plan.
Shameful, Aaron.
And we're altering the plan. We altered the deal.
I don't alter it any further.
Right.
All right, so when you're done with this, again, you do the decal fix. you do, and then you do the matte varnish.
Yeah, but you could skip the decal fix, obsessive
you would just
compulsive
go
bend
varnish.
step. You don't have to do it, just matte varnish. Yeah.
And then tell me, so after the varnish is on, talk to me about the blending that you do. We don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But
So
let's just talk about it.
it really depends on what your mech's base color is. So if I want to do it quick and easy, I'll take like I use this bone color. That's kind of like off-white color.
Okay.
For all of the, like, it's almost like putting a haze of dust over the whole mech.
Interesting.
It kind of highlights and it kind of blends all the colors together.
And you use this on every mech?
Not everyone. Depends.
Okay. Did you do it on the Lancers that you?
Yeah, I did on Lancers. I also on Lancers I used I blended the decals in with kind of like a putty color, sort of like on what's on the feet of your guys.
Oh, okay.
It almost yellows it, and
that's the same thing you're kind of doing.
Same kind of thing here. So you can do it wet and sort of haze it over, or you can do it dry. I prefer dry.
Yeah,
because with the wet, you don't really know how it's going to come out until it's done drying, and it can puddle and look like crap.
I love that.
So doing it dry looks good. So you know
this is interesting. Okay.
The Benjamin regulars I did.
Yep.
They were white.
Yep.
I used
fantastic.
an off-white to kind of haze that in.
Okay. Interesting.
If you look at it next time and zoom in on them, you can see.
So I did not do any blending on any decals because I'm, of course, like I had decalaphobia.
Yeah,
Just overcome that. Now he's asking me, guys, to like paint over my painted mechs that have just been decaled.
Yes.
This is crazy. I feel very uncomfortable in this video.
I get it. And it's a step that, like I said, ancient grognard knowledge. I was doing
like you open like the chest and
yeah. Well, there was
the beard just comes out.
Yep. There was funny enough, there was a really great guy at some of the historical conventions, and I was doing actually 285th scale, same scale as mechs, but World War II fighters, which are wingspan wise probably about the same as the top of this
Marauder
guy. Yeah. So they were small. They were very small, and I brought him a couple, and he's like, "Those look great, but the decals stand out too much." Like, how in the world do you stop that from happening? Because they look brand new, right?
Yeah.
And he says, just dry brush over top of them with a little bit of like an off-white color or like a putty color, or the same base color as you used, and just dry brush over top so there's like a little light haze and it blends in the rest of it. It was like
mind blown.
Dave, thank you, Dave.
Well, we got some close-ups. So you got to see some 360s and whatnot. So you got to see kind of the finished product of what they look like. And we've been joking around and bantering. And how long have we been filming, Ben? I don't even know.
I don't know, but probably too long for what we were
30,
trying to
40
convey.
minutes. But it does not take long. All right. It's easy to do. I encourage everybody to get out there and throw some decals on your minis. Yeah. We had a jump point not long ago about with actual the Colonel himself, Matthew Steiner, painting extraordinaire, fantastic painter. And we talked about like little tips, right, that you can do to bring your units to life. This is like the easiest thing you can do to make your units look baller status, right? I mean, it's just, you can do some speed paints and some decals and they look phenomenal. Yeah. So I really encourage people to try it out. And hopefully you picked up, if you're new to decals, you picked up sort of the process, the methods, and how to do it. If you've been decaling for a long, if you're a decal addict and you need help, hopefully you picked up maybe some new tips or tricks from Ben's Guide to Grognard Decaling.
Yep.
Phenomenal, dude. I love it. I love every minute of it. But that said, guys, again, subscribe, like, leave a comment. If you want to help out the channel more, you can head on over to Patreon. It's as little as $1 a month to get in on the action. And again, Aries Games and Minis. Get over there, get the decals, Fighting Piranha, and also Death Ray Designs. Man, that was like a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Woo! You got Death from Above, you got Death Ray, you got all kinds of death.
There's death everywhere.
Yeah.
But I really do like the Death Ray Design stuff. I didn't even know they had decals until maybe like 6 months ago.
Definitely
and
impressed.
I've been buying, very impressed. I've been buying a ton of them. And the customization, the fact that I could finally print like little Avatar Knights, like little shields, and oh my God, I'm in heaven.
That makes me want to do a custom Merc unit. I already have.
Yes.
What? Almost 2 full companies of mechs painted in the Merc unit scheme. Yeah. Now I want to do
Time for a custom one. So anyway, that's all we got, guys. Again, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching.
Yes, indeed.
And of course, stay tuned. Always great stuff coming from Death from Above Wargaming. Have a good night.